Vishwa Sai.
A recital of Satcharitra on Thursdays between 6 and 6:30 in the evening.
Shubham Bhavatu.
Vanandva Ganapatigum Havavahe Kavin Kavinamupamasravastamam Jeshwarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Arashrunvannotibhiseda Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Bharvajinivati Dhinama Vitriyavatu Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hare Om.
Namaskar, Om Sai Ram. With this greeting of Sai Ram, when someone smiles, you smile back and something happens. What is that something which fills us with joy, a sense of optimism, and also connects us with the reservoir of inexhaustible faith? That something opens up when we hear Vedic chanting. And today again, we begin today's program with Vedic chanting by our own Sanskrit brothers, Srinath and Mahadevaji. Enjoy.
Shanno mitrasyam varunaha Shanno bhavatvaryama Shanna indro bruhaspatihi Shanno vishnurukramaha Namo brahmane Namaste vayo Tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi Tvameva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami Ratam vadishyami Satyam vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu mam Avatu vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
With those uplifting vibrations that are radiated by Vedic chanting of Sanskrit brothers, and it becomes possible because of the faith, because of the grace, and because of course due to the grace of Guru as well as their sustained practice. Practice makes a man perfect, we have always heard it, and in addition to practice, when singers are capable of connecting with us on a soulful and harmonious level with melody that makes us happy, there is something special about these singers. And again, we want to offer this devotional song for you in today's Shirdi Sai Vishwa Sai.
Ye Dinanath Sai Ram Nath Sai Ram Koti pranam shatakoti pranam Ye Dinanath Sai Ram Ye Dinanath Sai Ram Ye Dinanath Sai Ram तुमको भक्तों के योगवदारा तुमको भक्तों के योगवतारा तुमको भक्तों के योगवतारा तुमको नंद Artipuri, Ye Sai Gopala, Shirdi Puri, Ye Sai Gopala, Ye Dinanada Sai Ram.
You get up in the morning, and our sages have asked us that take a look at your palm, and there is a mantra that is chanted, which is Karagare Vasate Lakshmi Karamule Saraswati Karamadhye tu Govindam Prabhate Kar Darshanam. So you look at your hand and you remind yourself how great you are, how much potential there is in you that you want to offer to the day that has come to welcome you. Each day is new, each moment is new, and what makes us aware of this newness is that insight which opens up by grace. And in the case of Dr. Nuri Dattatreya, when this insight prompted him to act and do something, then he founded Nuri Foundation, and we have especially most of the Sai devotees feel blessed to have Sai temple in Balwin and also at Islin. The form that you see behind me is the form which is there with all its blessings at the Islin temple. But how all this started? Today happens to be the day when there are great preparations happening to mark the 10th anniversary celebration of the temple, which coincides with 4th of July, another important landmark historical day for this nation, this great nation, America. And we are going to be sharing tidbits of experiences as well as insight with Dr. Nuri Dattatreya in next few episodes. Let us begin and hear what this devotee of Baba has to say about the idea of becoming instrumental in forming, starting, establishing a temple. Dr. Nuri Dattatreya is director of the Cancer Center, New York Hospital, Queens. He has received many national and international awards for his cancer research and innovation in cancer treatment. He has trained more than 300 doctors in US. Most of them are occupying high positions in various universities in America and abroad. He was declared top cancer doctor for 10 years in a row. Top doctor for women's cancer for 10 years, selected by Popular Women's Magazine. Professor and chairperson of New York Presbyterian Hospital, Dr. Nuri was honored by American Cancer Society with Tribute to Life Award. Indian Medical Association Delhi honored him with gold medal for cancer research and education. According to Dr. Nuri Dattatreya, when science and medicine stops, spirituality starts. And many of us, when we feel happy, we want to continue to be more happy. And one way on the path of devotion is that maybe you meditate more, you read scriptures more, you enjoy bliss, and also be grateful for whatever has been given to you by His grace. But in your case, you didn't stop there. You started thinking about starting a temple. Now, how that idea came into being, and also thinking about anything brings a lot of questions and challenges. This in New York with commitments of your practice, which itself are difficult to meet. Share with us this journey from the idea to inception of the temple.
That's a very important question, Ashokji. One thing that transformed me from his teachings and being close to him is getting rid of that ego that I built the temple. Maybe I may have said it inadvertently many years ago, but I won't say that. It is His blessing and His will. He will make use of people's interests, people's talents, people's hard work, people's know-how, administrative skills, and takes them into His fold to help His other devotees, other children. So basically what He did with me is the same thing. That is, He found me, I'm very fortunate that He found me as someone who is reliable, who has a little bit of God-given skills, not only in medicine but other areas. So once he selects you as his member to do something to the society and to his devotees, to his children, he will pass you through a number of tests to find out if you really can do the job. So first thing is getting to be selected by him, which is the greatest blessing. Second thing is he gives you strength to go through all the difficulties that any project will go through. And especially in his case, including construction of this mandir, he has put me through so many tests that each time he will give you the solution, but he will push you hard to the wall until you give up, until that ego, sense of ego disappears from you, that you are not doing, you are doing it for him. He is doing it through you. Until then he pushes you to the wall. The number of difficulties we went through in this mandir, from legal to code, whether or not it can be done here because it's a public gathering, and so many things. But every time when I find a difficulty, I pray to him, he gives the solution. And one example is when I bought this property here, 2001, and we started renovating this in 2002, beginning of 2002. And there was a small incident in the kitchen area here, and all the people came from the township, and that was 3 months after September 11th. So you can imagine the suspicion, the misunderstanding they may have about what we are doing here. So I went into a lot of difficulties, and finally I went into meditation. Why do you put me through all this? I'm a doctor, I'm helping people, I'm saving lives. Why this for me? Then immediately he flashes a name in my mind of someone whom I treated, who has high position in this community, in the township. It didn't occur to you before. Suddenly he gives that name, and I went through that person. That person said, don't worry, I'll take care of all this. Then we started the construction back. So for everything, as I mentioned in the beginning, you have to pass through his tests. Then the connection between you and Baba becomes more stronger. Then he takes you to the next level. And so many things happen like that. Whatever happened in this mandir, even finding this location, I call that a miracle. Because I have been looking to build a temple for Baba for many, many years because of my devotion, to make sure that all his children know that he is here, or he is in New York also. I may say this is one of the first temples in Northeast for Baba. That may be, I think that is correct. And how I found out this is also another Leela of Baba. And before 2001, for 80 years before that, I was looking for a place almost every weekend for about 7-8 years, every weekend. And I could not find, if I have a nice hall, I don't have the zoning. If I have zoning, I don't have parking. So one problem or other, I could not find a place for him. Finally, on one Thursday, I'm going to work, hospital, to see my patients. And when you go to some level of connection with the Almighty, with Baba, you can relate to him, you can ask him questions, you can be a little bit upset with them. So I was upset with him. Why me? I'm a doctor doing my job. You selected me and you are not showing me a place to build a temple for you. I'm giving up, you find someone else. So, for lack of a good word, I gave him an ultimatum. I gave him an ultimatum, don't bother me anymore. Today is Thursday, just like it's auspicious for you, I am giving my ultimatum to you on Thursday. So I went to work to see my patients. And I saw one lady, follow-up came after 10 years of cure for a cancer. And I asked her casually, what do you do? What type of work you do? She said, I'm a real estate agent. And I wanted to take one more final chance. Look, these are the conditions I need, a community hall with parking, with zoning and everything. And she said, Doctor, it is difficult to get all those requirements, but I will go home and try because I have a big company and a lot of connections. And she went home, back to her office, and she found out in the computer there is a place called 1889 Grand Avenue. Would you like me to get an appointment for you? So I said, no appointment is required. I'm canceling my clinic. I'm coming there. So I came here. And then I signed the contract on the same day. This is again to show you, he pushes you to the maximum until you give up and you lose, you give up your ego that you are doing it. Then he shows a way, clears the way for you. The same thing happened here. So we bought that, we renovated this. Everything that is done in this mandir is an experience. You may call it a miracle. Construction. Mr. Malhotra, one of the greatest architects in America, he helped to construct this. He's also a devotee. And when he was drawing the architectural designs, he couldn't believe that some force is helping him to draw that because of a perfect synchrony he found out in the drawings, which he never found out in his entire experience of architectural design. So Baba has his hand in every inch, every part of this mandir. That's one thing. When a lot of Swamijis come to this mandir from India, my Guruji, Viswayogi Viswanji Maharaj came, a lot of other Swamijis come here. Everyone says the vibration here is exactly like in Shirdi. Because I believe it's because he constructed his temple for himself here. It's not me doing it, it's anybody doing it. He himself selected it, he himself put everything in places here. That's one of the greatest things. And that's one reason this mandir is very special for all the devotees here.
Devotees have experienced that it is the same divinity that came on this earth, that descended on it. This earth in the form of Shirdi Baba was also reaching out to them in the form of Bhagwan Satya Sai Baba. Some have experienced it, some have questioned it. But there is a continuity of the divine flow or the flow of divine grace that many people have found in the presence of Vishwa Yogi Vishwamji Maharaj also.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada.
Being one with the world, Vishwa Yogi probably comes from there. So I request Swamiji, please tell us how Vishwa Yogi became the address for you, and how someone who aspires to become a yogi should lead his life.
That is a question in the minds of so many people. Why we are calling Swamiji as a Vishwa Yogi? Why he is also allowing us to call Vishwa Yogi? I also tells that you may call me as Vishwa Yogi. What is Yogam? Who is Yogi? What is Vishwa Yogi? Yoga means connection. Connection between personal mind and universal mind. Every person is having mind, that is personal mind. And there is mind in the universe. Mind means the vibrations, mental vibrations, that jnana taranga, the waves of the knowledge, the waves of the mind, which are existing in the body is called mind. Just like the person having the mental vibrations, the vibrations of the knowledge in his brain, the whole infinite universe is also having the vibrations, mental vibrations, and the vibrations of the infinite knowledge. So, if we want to get that knowledge which is existing in the universal mind, we must have connection with it. Suppose, if we want to get current energy into our house to give benefits to us, first of all, we have to get the connection. If we get connection, we can use it for several purposes. In the same way, if we want to get the knowledge flow into our mind, we must have connection. Having connection between the personal mind and the universal mind is called yoga. He who had the connection between his mind and the personal mind is called yogi. So, he who connects his mind to the universal mind is called Vishwa Yogi. Vishwa Yogi means he is the person who is having connection with the universal mind. The infinite knowledge is existing in the universal mind. So, if we have connection with that universal mind, we can acquire each and every knowledge in each and every field of the society. Nothing can be away from that universal knowledge. Take such Sai Baba. He went from the house when he was studying 8th class or 7th class. He did not educate in the school, even in the middle school. But now he is capable enough to advise the doctors, scientists, everybody. How can he gain that knowledge? Because he had the connection with the universal mind. These are all called Vishwa Yogis. So, I, through sadhana, 21 years, practiced penance and tried my level best, without food, without sleep, without any ambition, only one ambition, that is having connection with the universal power, which is omnipotent and omnipresent. We have to experience ourselves. I have to experience it myself to proclaim the truth to the world, to the society, to lead them on the right path. After 21 years, during the period of 21 years also, I experienced so many experiences, and I at last acquired and I found out the truth that the universal mind, the infinite universal knowledge is only the God power, the Adi Parasakti. That is the Vani, Vagdevi, Jnana Saraswati, which is pervading through every atom of the universe. So, I gained connection with that omnipotent, omnipresent cosmo-electromagnetic power and the Jnana Saraswati, that is the ocean of divine knowledge, universal knowledge. Now I can contact any mind. There is a secret in it. If we have connection with that universal mind, we have the capacity to read any mind and to lead any mind, to capture any mind and any heart. If we had connection with that universal mind, we can conquer any mind or any heart. That is the secret.
Time for our weekly sequential reading of Shri Sai Charitra.
बाबा अपने भक्तों से किसी वस्तु की आशा न रखते थे। वे तो केवल स्मरण, दृढ़ निष्ठा और भक्ति के भूखे थे। महाराष्ट्र के लोग प्रतिपक्ष या हर महीने सदैव सत्यनारायण का व्रत किया करते थे, परंतु अपने गांव पहुंचने पर भीमाजी पाटिल ने सत्यनारायण व्रत के स्थान पर एक नया ही सत्य साई व्रत प्रारंभ कर दिया। बाला गणपत दर्जी। एक दूसरे भक्त जिनका नाम बाला गणपत दर्जी था, एक समय जीर्ण ज्वर से पीड़ित हुए। उन्होंने सब प्रकार की दवाइयां और काढ़े लिए, परंतु इनसे कोई लाभ न हुआ। जब ज्वर तिलमात्र भी न घटा तो वे शिरडी दौड़े आए और बाबा के श्री चरणों की शरण ली। बाबा ने उन्हें विचित्र आदेश दिया कि लक्ष्मी मंदिर के पास जाकर एक काले कुत्ते को थोड़ा सा दही और चावल खिलाओ। वे ये समझ न सके कि इस आदेश का पालन कैसे करें। घर पहुंचकर चावल और दही लेकर वे लक्ष्मी मंदिर पहुंचे, जहां उन्हें एक काला कुत्ता पूंछ हिलाते हुए दिखा। उन्होंने वो चावल और दही उस कुत्ते के सामने रख दिया, जिससे वो तुरंत ही खा गया। इस चरित्र की विशेषता का वर्णन कैसे करूं कि ये उपाय करने मात्र से ही बाला दर्जी का ज्वर हमेशा के लिए जाता रहा। बापू साहेब बूटी। श्रीमान बापू साहेब बूटी एक बार अम्ल पित्त के रोग से पीड़ित हुए। उनकी अलमारी में बहुत सी औषधियां थीं, परंतु कोई भी गुणकारी नहीं हो रही थी। बापू साहेब अम्ल पित्त के कारण बहुत कमजोर हो गए और उनकी स्थिति इतनी गंभीर हो गई थी कि वो मस्जिद में जाकर बाबा के दर्शन करने में भी असमर्थ थे। बाबा ने उन्हें बुलाकर अपने सामने बिठाया और बोले, सावधान, अब तुम्हें दस्त न लगेंगे। अपनी उंगली उठाकर फिर कहने लगे, उल्टियां भी अवश्य रुक जाएंगी। बाबा ने ऐसी कृपा की कि रोग समूल नष्ट हो गया और बूटी साहब पूरी तरह स्वस्थ हो गए। एक अन्य अवसर पर भी वे हैजा से पीड़ित हो गए। फलस्वरूप उनकी प्यास अधिक तीव्र हो गई। डॉक्टर पिल्ले ने हर तरह के उपचार किए, परंतु स्थिति न सुधरी। अंत में वे फिर बाबा के पास पहुंचे और उनसे तृषा रोग निवारण की औषधि के लिए प्रार्थना की। उनकी प्रार्थना सुनकर बाबा ने उन्हें मीठे दूध में उबला हुआ बादाम, अखरोट और पिस्ते का काढ़ा पियो, ये औषधि बतला दी। दूसरा डॉक्टर या हकीम बाबा की बतलाई हुई इस औषधि को प्राणघातक ही समझता, परंतु बाबा की आज्ञा का पालन करने से ये रोग नाशक सिद्ध हुई और आश्चर्य की बात है कि रोग समूल नष्ट हो गया। आलंदी के स्वामी। आलंदी के एक स्वामी बाबा के दर्शन के लिए शिरडी पधारे। उनके कान में असह्य पीड़ा थी, जिसके कारण उन्हें एक पल भी विश्राम करना दुष्कर था। उनकी शल्य चिकित्सा भी हो चुकी थी, फिर भी स्थिति में कोई विशेष परिवर्तन नहीं हुआ था। दर्द भी अधिक था। वे किंग कर्तव्य विमूढ़ होकर वापस लौटने के लिए बाबा से अनुमति मांगने गए। ये देखकर श्यामा ने बाबा से प्रार्थना की कि स्वामी के कान में अधिक पीड़ा है, आप इन पर कृपा करो। बाबा आश्वासन देकर बोले, अल्लाह अच्छा करेगा। स्वामी जी पुनः वापस लौट गए और एक सप्ताह के बाद उन्होंने शिरडी पत्र भेजा कि पीड़ा शांत हो गई है, परंतु सूजन अभी पहले की तरह है। सूजन दूर हो जाए, इसके लिए वे शल्य चिकित्सा कराने बंबई गए। शल्य चिकित्सा विशेषज्ञ सर्जन ने जांच करने के बाद कहा कि ऑपरेशन की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं। बाबा के शब्दों का गूढ़ अर्थ हम निरे मूर्ख क्या समझें।
The life of Shirdi Baba reminds us that we should listen to that which is uplifting, which resides in us. And there has been cases when people didn't pay attention to what Shirdi Baba was saying. They had to pay some price for it. Now, how we become sensitive so that the inner pure voice is audible to us and we are intelligent enough to respond to this side of our being, satsang definitely helps. And Shirdi Sai Vishwa Sai is nothing but a way of our humble offerings which are in the form of satsang. So do join us next week for this particular way of doing satsang through audio visual media. Thanking all of you for being with us. This is Ashok Vyas. Sai Ram.
Om Sri Sai Ram Gurudeva Datta
Shyaya Baba Nanika Dushyaya Niranjani Sadguru Swami Javilasi Deva Baba Swami Sukhe Niragara Abhuta Baba Kara Saminata